Welcome to the Three Ranger Bros audio library.
The home to audio dramas created by the Three Ranger Bros themselves.
Here they have built stories as a team, coming together with their storytelling ability and creating new tales and adventures for you guys to listen to.
These stories have been worked on by the Three Bros, and here we have a channel dedicated to them.
All the stories in this channel have been worked on by all three bros. Each story is crafted.
Then they make their own unique original characters, which they will do the voices of.
They explore many different fandoms and give unique takes and ideas within their favorite fictional worlds.
And best of all, they have created this channel to invite you, the listener, to join them in these fantastic tales. So strap in and dive into the Three Ranger Bros audio library.
Power Rangers Global, Royal Blue Rebirth, Chapter 4, The Tale of Minato Yoshiki. In the 1940s, people found it hard to keep their lives afloat. For Minato, it was no different. His father had bailed on him, his mother and his younger sister many years ago, leaving their mother defenseless to raise two children and work hard to keep their house, to feed them, to clothe them, and to pay all the other bills. Minato sat there on the stone steps that led to their front door. He took a deep sight in, as it was his 18th birthday, but that meant no time for celebration. It meant he was now a man. But he saw things differently to your average person who would celebrate their 18th birthday. He saw it as a chance to finally make some money and help out his mother and assure they keep the house, to make sure his sister had somewhere to live. He headed off and spent the day looking for work, talking to as many people as he could, who were asking for jobs across the city. He asked for jobs for all varieties. He had no luck. The sun started to drag itself across the sky as afternoon became evening ever so slowly. The sky became grey and the rain started falling, and he found himself sat on the curb, allowing himself to get wet. Suddenly, the bar behind him exploded with a bunch of noise. As the entrance door swung open, a young man came flying out, crashing onto the floor. His face was all swollen, covered in bruises and blood. He staggered to his feet. You'll regret this! I'm the best runner you got, man! The young man cried out. The man stood there in the doorway. He was much larger, with a cigar in hand. Please, you are more replaceable than you know. The large gentleman chuckled. The young man looked across at Minato and locked eyes with him. Then he ran off quickly. The larger man clocked Minato sat there. He stared at him for a long minute. Minato nodded at him as a sign of respect, then turned and watched the rain fall across the road. The larger man closed the door behind him and strolled up to Minato, standing next to him. It's peaceful, huh? Watching the rain fall, the man asked.
Yeah, I guess so.
Minato sighed. And why is the strapping young man sat on the side of the road without a beer or a woman by his side? The man asked him.
Just wasted my 18th birthday looking for work.
Minato muttered. I ain't no racist, son, but it might be because you're half Japanese. People assume if there's a Japanese man walking around, you work for the Yakuza, and they generally shy away. Nasty little rats they are, the larger man grunted. Minato just scoffed as a sign of being rather impressed.
Guess I have one of those faces.
Minato said with an eye roll. Nah, son, give it 10 years, and I'll have the Yakuza run out of business. If people are gonna buy guns, drugs, and protection from a gang, it's gonna be mine, the larger man said with a hint of determination. Suddenly, an idea sparked in Minato's mind. He needed to make money, and make money quick. He knew how to fight, and over his youth he learned how to fire a gun. He had never taken drugs before, but he saw many people dealing. He saw the opportunity and went for it. He stood up, dusted himself off, and cleared his throat.
So, with that guy running off, I'm assuming you need a new runner. I know this city. I know the streets, and I'm not new to fighting. I know how to use a gun, and I know how deals go down. So I'm willing to help. I just need money, sir. I need to support my mother and younger sister.
Minato stated awkwardly. I like your balls, son. Yeah, why not? I could do a younger man running around. Fuck it. My boss would like you, and stick with me, boy. I'll eventually run this game, and I will be calling the shots. Your mom will be living her last years in luxury for sure. The man chuckled.
My name is Minato, sir. Minato Yoshiki.
Minato stated as he held out his hand. The larger man shook his hand with a tight grip. Capone! People around here call me Al Capone, the man said with a devilish grin. Then Al Capone led him into the bar and introduced him to his brand new friends and showed him how he would be making his money from then on. 6 years had passed. Minato had sold thousands of pounds of drugs and killed a few men who thought they knew better. He had grown into his role quite comfortably. His family had now paid off all their debts and they were living happily with their full bellies and smiles on their faces. His friendship with Al Capone had deepened and he was now his most trusted runner. Minato had learned some interesting information. The Yakuza, their rival gang, who had moved here a few years prior to Minato joining, had lost one of their runners. He might have accidentally died after running into a bullet after Minato shot his gun. He needed to talk to Al Capone about his new plan, which would result in more money, new clientele, and a way to make a large dent in the Yakuza's operation. He walked down the stairs and walked into the kitchen to find his sister sat at their table eating a sandwich and his mother making herself lunch to take to work. Hello, Minato, dear. How are you this morning? His mother asked.
I'm good, Mother. And yourself?
Minato asked back. I am hoping the sunshine stays around. We could have a picnic later, his mother suggested.
Sounds like a plan.
Minato said with a nod. He then stood there adjusting his hat and tie. You know, you kind of look like Grandpa in that suit, his sister chirped up.
Kai, sweetie, keep your mouth shut. A man in my job has to dress to impress. The more people I impress, the more high-priced bread and jam we could get.
Minato sneered. He gave his sister a wise look. Okay, whatever, wise guy. Kai groaned before taking another bite of her very now expensive sandwich. Minato hugged his mother and planted a kiss on his sister's forehead, much against her protesting, before he said his goodbyes and left the house. He walked into Al Capone's office. Hey, boy! We have several deliveries to make today, so I need you on your heel, Al Capone told him.
Actually, Al, I was wondering if we could expand our clients. There is someone needing guns and coke in the Lantern District.
Minato replied. The Lantern District is Yakuza territory. You know this, boy, Al Capone grunted as he lit his cigar.
Well, see, you know the shootout that happened on 6th and Stewart Drive? Turns out we killed one of the Yakuza. Now I have been doing some digging. He only had one client, a family on the west side of the Lantern District. We could sell them our guns and coke, get them out of the Yakuza's grasp, right under their noses, expand our reach, and make a dent in theirs.
Minato suggested. Al Capone let out a sigh. He took a long drag from his cigar and exhaled some smoke. I don't know, boy. It's risky. I don't want to infringe on their business. If there isn't a 100% chance of success to fuck them over. You get me? Al Capone admitted. Minato nodded in response, but deep down he knew that this was the right move to take. He said his goodbyes to Al and headed out, with his hat firmly on his head and his suitcase in hand. As he walked out of the building, he should have turned left, but instead he turned right and headed for the Lantern District. He was willing to go against the words of disapproval from his friend to help out the business. At the end of the day, everybody benefited from it. Minato did, Al Capone did, the business did, and because of all the money that he was going to be racking in, so would his family. The deal went rather well. He met with the head of the family with his Japanese heritage. Thanks to his mother's side of the family, he managed to convince the head family member he was the new runner for the Yakuza. He had received a way of contact for the family and received the largest payment he had ever received in the 6 years he worked for Al Capone. You are a bloody fool! Al Capone roared, slamming his hand on his desk.
It worked, didn't it? I sold the goods, I got the money, everyone is happy.
Minato said with a slight chuckle. When the Yakuza find out, and trust me they will hunt you down, boy. They take this shit seriously, and they go for revenge with a taste of blood in their mouth. They won't go after me, and they won't go after you. They'll go after your mother, or your sister. Al Capone spat with a slight hint of aggression.
Al, you made sure no one would find them. I've got this in the bag. I have this covered. It's a smart move. None of our clients have paid us this much in one go.
Minato said with a hint of desperation. Just go, boy. Let me see if I can fix this mess that you put us in. Al Capone sneered. Minato let out a sharp sigh and stormed out the office. He headed home with its ego bruised and his anger boiling. He walked up to the stone steps and instantly stopped in his tracks. Two things hit his senses like a train. The first one was the sound of crying. It was loud, sharp, and then there was broken gasps between every other breath. The second one was the sight of the door. It was slightly ajar, the handle busted, never to be closed again in the state that it was in. Minato grabbed for his gun from his waist and gently pushed the door open. He walked in slowly and entered the doorway of the living room, where he saw his mother, the source of the crying, there on the floor with his sister soaked in blood, lifeless, his mother on her knees, hunched over the lifeless girl. Minato rushed over and dropped to his knees quickly.
No. Kai! No. What happened?
As he knelt there, with tears filling his eyes, in the blurry haze of shock, horror, and sadness, he felt someone stood behind him. He turned his head and was met with a silenced pistol staring at him. He saw the man, a tall Japanese, dressed all in black suit, his hair combed back, with a dead expression man. No remorse, no life in his eyes, no emotion. Hello, Minato. Glad you could join us. Now, kick your gun, the man said. Minato slid the gun away. It slid across the carpet and hit the wall. Minato glared at the man with devil eyes. You know why I'm here, yes? The man asked gently.
The Yakuza found out what I did?
Minato guessed. His words sharp, his mouth dry, his vision started to blur for a second before the tears ran down his face. What the hell did you do? His mother growled. Minato knelt there. He turned to his mother, who knelt over his dead sister, his head buried in her daughter's chest. Minato stared at the broken woman before him. She raised her head, cheeks flooded with tears and glaring red, teeth clenched, eyes widened with rage. You're in a gang? Drugs? Guns? Money? The money. That's where the money came from, isn't it? You lied to me. You lied to us. And this is what your lies have done. You got your sister killed. You did this. How dare you? We're going to die. We're all going to die. I hope you go to hell. You deserve nothing more. You horrible, horrible child. Before his mother could continue, a sharp sound from the gun was fired. His mother dropped onto Kai, dead. Gunshot now spilling blood from her forehead. Minato knelt there, his face now painted by the small splatter of his own mother's blood. He turned to the assassin, who stood there, his silenced pistol once again trained on Minato.
I guess I was right. Never mess with the Yakuza clan.
Minato scoffed. You got that right, the assassin muttered. Then Minato looked directly down the barrel of the gun. Then there was darkness. For the next 80 or so years, his spirit would be tortured in the underworld. As he was not religious in any way, and had no beliefs in that sort of form, every god in the underworld took a decade or so to turn his soul into a tortured remnant, reminding him of all the crimes he committed, reminding him of the words his mother spoke last. The sight of his dead sister, to him it was eternity. But then the gods vanished, and he would spend his days sat in a dark cell. At first it was loud, his memories playing like a never-ending podcast. Then the darkness became uncomfortable, and then silence. It became almost safe. Then one day the gate opened. He stood there, unsure on what was going on. He walked out. The dull red skies were bright enough to blind him for a moment. His eyes adjusted, and he saw Thanatos. He remembered the being. He's the one who brought his spirit to the underworld.
I need your help, Minato.
Thanatos told him. Minato looked back at the darkness of his cell, and the one that he called home for as long as he could remember. He didn't even know how much time had passed. He then turned back to the personification of death itself.
I am listening.
Minato replied. Thanatos then explained his master plan, the reason behind him tricking Nephis into turning him into a monster, just to be defeated, just to be able to return home, and all that was to find Minato, someone who was willing to fight for family, take bold risks, and to do what he believed was right, and stood by no matter what. He wanted to find Minato specifically to give him a physical form. Once again, he would be alive. But also, he wanted to bond with him, to give him powers of death, and for that, he also needed access to Morphin Grid, to allow Minato to join the Power Rangers Global team, and to become the Black Ranger of Death. Minato thought about it for a second, his mind swirling with all the words that Thanatos just threw at him. It sounded absolutely insane, but he knew deep down that this new opportunity was his way to redeem himself. He nodded at Thanatos, and then the personification of death placed his finger on Minato's head, and his wings spread out. There was a gulf of white light that washed over Minato. Minato stood on the edge of a quarry cliff. His new body felt strange, warm and familiar all at once. His fists clenched as he stared down into the quarry. His new body pretty much looked exactly the same as his old one, but it felt almost foreign to him. He stared down at the quarry cliff, and he watched as the Power Rangers Global team fought the most recent god of choice in their monster form.
Are you ready for this?
Thanatos asked in his mind. Minato shuddered as he heard a different voice in his own head. The only downside to having this new physical form was the fact that Thanatos was able to mentally speak with him from the underworld.
Yeah, I get it. I'm going to save the Rangers, blah blah. Let's get this over with.
Minato growled, his new Death Blade dagger morpher in his grip, a new perk to being linked to the Morphin Grid, and the avatar Thanatos. Minato mentally prepared to introduce himself to his fellow Rangers, his new team. He was ready to atone for his sins and to become a member of Power Rangers Global.